welcome to Wherever We Find Ourselves, Episode 3. Today, we will be listening to stories. So it's going to be story time with Skilly.
With Skilly.
Take it away, Big Skilly.
All right, here we have a couple of creepy and disturbing mysteries.
Oh, yeah?
So, number 1, when a search party oh my gosh. When a search party went out to find their missing coworker, they found a house of horror instead. So, in 2014, in Okada, don't know where that's at, operator named Kazim from somewhere in Nigeria. I don't know how to say it. Ibadan sent distressed text messages to his friends and coworkers. Um,
If you guys can't tell, he has never read this story before, okay? So
yeah, I haven't read these
bear
yet.
with us. We'll stumble our way through this son of a bitch.
So, friends and coworkers that he was being held captive in a remote forest and begged for help, alerting loved ones that he had been lured to the site by 2 customers who asked him for a ride. Once he arrived, he was kidnapped. Damn, can you imagine being like an Uber and showing up and just get kidnapped?
You call for a ride, homie?
Usually it's the other way around, isn't it? Um, when a search party assembled near the forest to find Kazim, they found an abandoned building filled with rotting bodies. Ew.
Nice.
Skeletons and detached bones.
Yum.
A group of heavily malnourished people were shackled in leg irons in the building,
I bet
and
that's
more were
I
outside in the surrounding
I bet
bush.
that stunk.
Dude.
Oof.
Um, and more were the scene, which spanned more than 15 kilometers,
Damn.
was strewn with human remains and rotting parts. Kazim wasn't among those whom law enforcement rescued.
It's just wait a second. Are these real stories?
Yeah.
They're real.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Upon further investigation, authorities and local citizens found that the site, littered with abandoned buildings, had previously been used for construction work. Once it was abandoned, criminals adopted the space to run a business selling body parts for black magic rituals. That's actually common in Africa. Did you know this is a little bit of a um
Sidebar.
sidebar that in Africa they hunt albinos for that reason.
Albino Africans?
Yeah. So like being albino in Africa is extremely dangerous in some parts. um Victims were tortured and slaughtered at the site, leaving passports, shoes, clothes, travel bags, and driver's license behind. Although unaware of the full spectrum of atrocities happening close to their homes, residents near the forest knew the area was dangerous, especially at night.
I'm still wondering how the hell you know that it's albino Africans are hunted heavily.
Yeah, for black magic rituals. They believe they have like supernatural
Your
power
browser history is fucked.
for more than one reason. Um, Especially at night. Multiple concerned citizens had placed calls to the police, but authorities never acted on the tips. Many people believe that the victims still remained in the house of horror and rioted in an attempt to compel officers to continue searching for survivors.
Wow.
Well, that's fucked up.
Is that the end of the story?
Yeah,
What?
so far. That's
That's
it.
it.
That's all we
Well, what
get,
the fuck
baby.
happened? Was there any
Well,
survivors? Others?
uh, doesn't
Was there
say.
an albino there?
Uh, Probably.
Wow.
That's all we get, though. We might have to look into these further later
Hey,
on. I'll do a part two.
if anybody wants to know anything more about these, just drop us a comment, and we'll have to research whichever one you guys want us to do.
Yeah, that's a great idea. All right, number two. A family was murdered in their home while three children in the adjoining room slept through the massacre.
Oh.
Uh, um, okay, that's rough.
Uh-huh.
I would sleep through that.
You would sleep through anything, though.
After divorcing her husband, Sue Sharp and her five children moved from Connecticut to Keddie, California to make a new start. Sue, her 15-year-old son John, 14-year-old daughter Sheila, 12-year-old daughter Tina, and 10 and 5-year-old sons Rick and Greg got along well with the neighbors, quickly making friends in their new hometown. However, there's always
However,
a however. Things were good until they weren't.
yeah,
That's usually how
it's
these go.
okay till it's not.
Their sense of belonging came to a violent and tragic halt in the early morning of April 12th, 1981. Sheila returned home from the neighbor's house that morning, and she was met with a horrific scene. They forgot the cereal. Just kidding.
Dad came home with
That
the milk.
her mother, her brother John, and his friend Dana Wingate had been brutally murdered while she was away. Meanwhile, Rick and Greg and a visiting friend were asleep in the adjoining bedroom. The children had apparently slept through the deadly attack, and 12-year-old Tina was missing. After opening the front door and witnessing the grotesque scene, Sheila immediately ran back to her neighbors to call the police. The three victims were bound by medical tape and electrical wire and had been bludgeoned, stabbed, and strangled. First responders reported blood all over the crime scene. On the walls, the bottoms of the victims' feet, the ceilings, the floors, the bedding in Tina's
You know,
room, the furniture, and the
and
back
they
steps.
slept through it. Holy fuck! It sounds like they just threw them everywhere.
They're like, can you quiet down out there? We're trying to sleep.
God.
Authorities never caught the murderers, and it took 3 years to find Tina's body.
Wow.
The FBI and local police made numerous mistakes throughout the investigation, leading the community to speculate the investigators were somehow involved in covering up for the murders. Although investigators never pinpointed a motive,
Mm.
they speculated Sue was having an affair. Dun dun dun.
Oh, no. Wait.
With her neighbor.
Okay, I was to say that story's not over, right?
No, allegedly.
Alleged.
As soon as the local sheriff realized his friends were the main suspects in the case, he advised them to leave town. The neighbor's wife even went to the police with a letter that her husband wrote confessing to the crimes. Despite the incriminating evidence, no one followed up on the lead.
That's crazy. How how people just like, "Yeah, I did it. I killed him." "Oh, no, we don't believe you." Like, "Nah, you didn't do it."
I,
And they don't even look into
I,
it. They're like, "Ah, yeah, whatever. That's too easy."
yeah. When investigators reopened the case in 2013,
Wow.
they found evidence that the neighbors and the authorities who questioned them might have been involved in a drug smuggling
Oh
ring.
my god.
They also found a weathered hammer and knife that might have been used as murder weapons. However, no one has ever been charged for the massacre.
In 2013, they thought they found the murder weapon from a 1981 murder.
Mm-hmm.
What the alright. Eh, is that story over?
Yeah.
M Man.
It's leaving more questions.
Cliffhangers, man.
That was it. They never convicted
Oh
anybody.
my god. Okay, so I'm gonna look it up, but it is a crazy statistic. of how many unsolved murders are in the US. But keep with your story, and I'll just interrupt you when I find it.
All right. Holy shit.
Nearly
Uh,
346,000 unsolved homicides in the US between 1965 and 2023. That's
Damn.
insane. So I guess if you just wanna murder somebody, just, like, write it down on a piece of paper saying, "Yeah, I killed the guy," and then they won't investigate you. You'll be, like, free to go.
That's what it sounds like. After all the stuff we've read has been like that.
You over there shuffling papers or what?
No.
Getting comfy?
I, I had to. We're gonna have to edit that out.
No, man, it's all in there, baby.
I don't know what the fuck that was.
You you know what it was.
All
Ah,
right. Dude, we cannot put that in here.
it's going, baby. Alright, keep going, keep
Okay.
going.
Okay. Dude, we can't, dude. Dude,
No, man, we
we're editing that
no,
part
I
out,
don't I
okay?
can't. We just keep going, man.
W- We gotta restart anyway.
Only you and I know what it was, so let's just keep reading, baby.
Only you and I. What is that? Oh, it's my goddamn cover for my PC, dude.
Alright, next story.
If my phone goes down another percent, I'm gonna have to go get a different charger.
Next story.
Dude, we can't keep. Okay. Okay, so number 3. An 18-year-old went missing, leaving behind his car with a puppy and lipstick drawing on the back window.
Nar.
Okay, no, not the
Not the
puppy.
puppy.
On January 2nd, 2000, 18-year-old
2000,
Walmart employee,
2000, baby.
that's the year of my life. Sam Quinn met with coworker Robert Jason Jason Owens to possibly buy a car in a nearby town outside of Asheville, North Carolina. Quinn followed Owens, who had told him about the vehicle, in his Mazda Protege.
Protege. Yeah, nice.
Before arriving at their destination, the two stopped at a convenience store to buy sodas. It was the last time Quinn was seen alive.
Shouldn't have bought that damn pop, man.
When they say it's bad for
It
you, they mean it.
it's just real bad.
Although Owens was eventually charged with Quinn's murder in 2017, the teen's body has never been found. So,
Wow.
on the last ones we've read, people who have admitted it were clear,
Mhm.
but his body was never found, so how could they have enough evidence?
Circumstantial, I guess. I don't know.
What happened to Quinn remains a mystery, but his car was found 4 days later. Instead of providing solid clues that could aid investigators in their search efforts, their Mazda produced evidence that left law enforcement with more questions than answers. Someone had parked Quinn's car in a Little Pig's barbecue parking lot, leaving the headlights on and a lipstick drawing of a mouth with an exclamation point. Excuse me. On the back window. Inside, officers found a live Labrador Retriever puppy, drink bottles, a jacket that didn't belong to Quinn, and a key card from an unknown hotel. Witnesses recalled seeing a mysterious woman driving the car around town.
Damn.
From there, the story gets even more bizarre. A composite sketch of the mysterious female driver held an uncanny resemblance to Misty Taylor, a young woman Quinn befriended a few weeks prior. When police questioned Owens, he mentioned Quinn had received a message on his pager from his aunt and needed to rush home. Quinn's aunt, Ina Usich, revealed she had been dining at the home of her friend Tamara Taylor, Misty's mother, and wasn't in a position to make a call. However, um, Ustich's house was broken into that night. Although nothing was stolen, she reported to the police that things were out of place. Misty and her abusive boyfriend, Wesley Smith, were also eating dinner with Usich that night. Quinn disappeared. Authorities suspect Owens was responsible for the disappearance, but didn't have enough evidence to arrest him. Then, on March 16th, 2015, Owens was arrested for killing Food Network star contestant Christy Sean Codd, her unborn child, and her husband Joseph. Damn.
Well,
He was convicted of 3 murder counts and 2 counts of dismembering human remains. During the investigation, officials learned of a fish pond project that Owens had worked on up until the day of Quinn's disappearance. When investigators broke through the cement poured over the abandoned project, they found fabric. Unidentifiable hard fragments, and multiple bags of an unidentified powdery substance that resembled pulverized lime or powdered mortar. Hmm.
that's not it, right?
That's
Oh
it.
my gosh, like, you leave me hanging on all these. Hey, send me the link and I'll read them just in case your phone dies, I guess. Just text it to me. What's the next story?
So the next story is an assassin murdered an entire family, then spent hours in the house eating ice
Oh
cream
my
and relaxing.
oh my god.
Y- You actually want to take this one? Because my phone is about to die.
The guy that killed a house full, okay, so while the rest of the world prepared to ring in 2001, the I don't even know how to say this family. They lay dead in Tokyo. Uh, on December 30th, 2000, Mikio, his wife, Yasuko, man, you like picked the hardest ones to try to read here.
We'll just go with Yusuka.
Okay. Um, Now I gotta find my place again because your deal here. Okay.
There are lots of ads that pop
Yes,
up.
there are. And his 8-year-old and their 8-year-old daughter, Nina, were stabbed to death while their 6-year-old son, Rai, was strangled. When detectives arrived at the scene the following day, they found fingerprint evidence suggesting the killer spent several hours in the home after he murdered the family, eating ice cream, drinking tea, taking a nap on the living room couch, and playing on the family computer. What the
Oh,
hell? This motherfucker right here. I'm just going, hey, I just want to borrow your computer to eat your ice cream, but uh I don't want you to see what I'm getting ready to look up on your computer, so you got to go. Like, what the fuck is even that? The unknown suspect left a surprising amount of evidence behind, including his clothes and the murder weapon. Investigators initially believed they would identify and catch the murderer quickly. Now detectives still have no answers. You have everything. You got the motherfucker's clothes. You got the weapon. You got the fingerprints. You probably got saliva. He's like eating off a spoon. I bet he ate that ice cream straight out the box too.
that
Didn't
motherfucking
didn't
animal.
even use a fucking bowl. Oh my god. However, Law enforcement's inability to determine a suspect isn't due to lack of effort. Okay. Or necessary skills. I don't know. I mean, you got everything, man. You still can't close the case. However, law enforcement inability to determine the suspect isn't due to lack of effort or necessary skills. That's the bunch of bullshit. Like, that's the worst line in this whole story. Around 280,000 officers have worked on the case.
That many.
So 280,000 failures is what that sounds like. They probably were like the bottom of police academy, like barely got through. Scrubbing the killer's clothes, accessories, and weapons for DNA and clues. Even the killer's bowel movement. That guy took a shit in the house and didn't flush.
What kind of animal, dude?
Even the killer's bowel movements, which he left unflushed in the family's toilet. Man.
He's like, sorry I murdered you, but I took a shit and didn't
Yeah,
flush
you might
either.
as well just gave him an upper decker too. Just take, that's where you take a shit in the top tank. The old upper decker. Oh my god. Where which he left unflushed in the family's toilet were tested so authorities could learn about the suspect's last meal before the attack. Well, before, I don't know, but after, motherfucker ate ice cream, so
And just a question, why is that relevant?
straight out the box. They probably wanted to know where he was at, so maybe they could get some kind of like, I don't know, a bank ATM picture, video off of a street camera or something. But 280,000 people came up with nothing. They even had this guy's clothes, the weapon, fingerprints, saliva, and shit, and still didn't find this motherfucker. Oh my god. After tracing where the killer purchased his clothes, like that fucking matters, and knife, scientists analyzed bird droppings found on the murderer's sweater. Now we got bird shit involved. Detectives also analyzed the killer's DNA to learn his ethnicity and ancestral origins. They're making this motherfucker a family tree. Still, every clue so far has led to a dead end.
Wow.
You guys have enough shit from this guy, literally
Literally.
and figuratively, to make another one of this guy. They fucking what do you call that shit with like the dolly sheep that they what do you call it? Made another one up? Cloned. They could clone this guy. They could grow him and see what he looks like. Oh my god. So, number 5. Now that's a cliffhanger. That guy was never found. 230,000 people have no idea. Wow. The Beaumont children went missing in 1966 and became Australia's longest running missing persons case. Well, hey,
I have an uncle from
from
Australia.
Australia, he's in the
Yeah.
newspaper. Uh, so Australia is a country that is just was made from a bunch of convicts from like what Europe, England, the UK. Like they took all the criminals to Australia.
I believe so.
Uh, it was a sweltering summer day in Adelaide, Australia, when three children, Jane, Arna, and Grant Beaumont, boarded a bus heading to Glenig Beach. Glenelg Beach. A 5-minute ride away, although they were unescorted. They knew the transportation routes well It was Australia Day on January 26, 1966. And the area was packed with beachgoers arriving in droves to enjoy the holiday and escape the heat. You- Escape the heat? You went outside. You want to escape the heat. You
You
know,
stay
like you
inside with the
lay on the
AC on,
vent,
baby.
you know? All right. So Nancy Beaumont expected her children to return on the noon or 2 p.m. bus. However, she and her husband Jim began to worry when the children weren't home by the time their father returned from work around 3 p.m. Jim drove to the beach in a vain attempt to find his children. The young Beaumonts, aged 9, 7, and 4, were never seen or heard from again. I don't know about you, man, but I ain't like throwing my 9-year-old on a bus to go to the beach with a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old. Man, I
It was a
guess,
different
but
time back then.
god dang. I mean, what was she doing? I mean, was she just so busy she couldn't go to the beach with her kids? Like she was enjoying the air conditioning.
Yeah, she didn't want to go outside.
After
I
returning from the
wouldn't either.
beach and scouring the neighborhood, Jim and Nancy reported their children missing and offered a $250 reward for any information witnesses might provide.
I'd be pissed if I found out my
Man,
parents only offered 250 for my
I think that
return.
the people that kidnapped you would probably pay them $250 to take your ass back.
Oh yeah.
Many beachgoers recalled seeing a sun-baked man in his 30s shuffling kids away from the waters. But they also noted that the children seemed acquainted with the swimmer. Nancy recalled that her children had recently begun joking about Jane's boyfriend at the beach. At the time, she thought nothing of it. Now, the seemingly light-hearted banter took on ominous tone. Investigators produced a sketch of the man and showed it to hundreds of witnesses, but nothing ever came from the leads. The officials began the officials became so desperate for answers that they flew a clairvoyant in from the Netherlands. What the fuck is a clairvoyant? Is that one of those people that sees the future and shit? Look it up.
I'm actually not sure.
What are you shaving over there? Ah, man, quit
No, I'm
fidgeting.
not shaving.
Hoping to find answers after the clairvoyant revealed that his mind's eye had seen had seen
I
the
think
children
you're
at a
right.
warehouse near their school. Man, my mind's eye is seeing that this guy is a bunch of bullshit. A local group raised more than $40,000 to have it demolished and searched. Wait, you're gonna demolish it and then search it? I mean, wouldn't you wanna search it
I
before you
guess.
demolish it? I mean, call me crazy, but
You
unsup
were right about
go
that too.
ahead.
About a clairvoyant. A person who claims to have a supernatural ability to perceive events in the future or
Man, I
beyond
don't
normal
believe in that
sensory
shit
contact.
at all. Unsurprisingly, nothing was found. In 1986, 3 suitcases emerged filled with newspaper clippings concerning the children, with ominous text scribbled in the margins. Upon further investigation, authorities learned the suitcase belonged to an amateur sleuth, recently deceased. What is a sleuth?
Um,
Who had spent years
let's
trying
see.
to solve the mystery. Random witnesses Random witnesses continued to provide tips over the years, believing they might have spotted the kidnapper. However, the Sun Kids swimmer was never positively identified. The case remains open to this day, making it the longest running missing persons investigation in the nation. And there's a
So sleuth is also a person who investigates crime.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I think I'm gonna skip that one.
Why? Which one is it?
Asha Degree, age 9, packed her backpack, walked out of her house on a rainy night, and vanished. On a rainy night in Shelby, North Carolina, a nearby car accident caused a power outage. Harold Degree peeked in the bedroom shared with his two children, shared by his two children, Asha and O'Brien, around 2 a.m. They were both asleep, so he went back in the bedroom with his wife. When his wife went to wake the children for school, and the reason why I'm not saying the wife's name is because I don't know how to say it. Aja was missing. O'Brien, 10, told his parents he heard his 9-year-old sister's bed squeak in the middle of the night, but he assumed she was just shifting in her bed. It was Valentine's Day, February 14th, 2000. After police arrived on the scene, they found no sign of forced entry. A canine unit surveyed the surrounding area with no luck, but leads were trickling in. Two witnesses called the Shelby police station, asserting that they had seen Aja walking near Highway 18 around 4 a.m. When one of the witnesses approached the girl, she ran into the woods and was never seen again. Well, I mean, why are you going on a stroll by the highway at 4 a.m.?
Hmm. I mean, you've
Nah.
never done that?
Investigators found Oz's hair bow in in a shed the next day, subsequently spending 7 days and 9,000 man hours searching for any clues the missing girl may have left behind in the 2 to 3 mile radius. They received numerous tips, but none led them any closer to learning of Aja's whereabouts. North Carolina State Investigation Department partnered with the FBI to hunt for the girl, and Montel Williams and Oprah Winfrey even shared her story on national TV. But it took another year and a half before another clue was found. On August 3rd, 2001, a construction worker on a site 30 miles from Aja's house found her missing backpack inside a New Kids on the Block shirt and a school library book. McElliot's Pool by Dr. Seuss. Unfortunately, the discovery did nothing to further progress in the case. A few prison inmates claimed they knew who murdered the girl and where she was buried, and tips continued to come in slowly. Unfortunately, they all led to dead ends. Are these all going to be cliffhangers? Did you like look up the most fucked up story possible and leave me at a cliffhanger?
Oh, yeah, I might have.
Timothy Piteson disappeared after his mother took him out of school to go on vacation, then committed suicide. What the fuck? I'm gonna take you out of school. We're gonna go on vacation, and Mama's gonna eat some lead. Oh my god! On May 11, 2011, Timothy Pitson's mother surprised her son by taking him out of school for a 3-day vacation around their home in Aurora, Illinois. The duo visited Brookfield Zoo in Chicago suburbs, the Key Lime Cove Resort in Gurnee, and the Kalahari Resort across the state line in Wisconsin. It was the last time they were ever seen together alive. Law enforcement found Amy Fry Pitson's body in a motel room on May 14th, which was my wedding day, and my divorce day was not May 14th. Reports
Not May
say
14th.
she took her own life, leaving behind a note indicating her son was safe. Oh, okay. However, the 6-year-old boy was never found. They obviously ain't that safe. When the police found Fry Pitson's vehicle in a parking lot, there was an unsettling amount of blood in the back seat. DNA testing proved it was Timmy's blood. Well, definitely don't think he's that safe, Mom. But family members told investigators the boy had suffered from a severe nosebleed the previous year. Additionally, the knife Fry Pitson used to take her life had only her own blood on the blade. She must have went up the street, not across it. Based on
Ugh.
her cell phone records, the video footage, the last time the pair were together was approximately 5 miles southwest of Sterling, Illinois. When Fry Pitson made her last call, her phone and Timmy's backpack and toys remained missing for years. In 2019, a teenager came forward claiming to be the missing child. However, DNA testing proved otherwise. He was actually 23-year-old Brian Reaney, a person with mental health issues. He was sentenced for 2 years in prison. Whether Timmy a tragic fate met a tragic fate or hidden somewhere alive and well is unknown. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
That's fucked up.
I mean, I think you definitely did pick the most fucked up stories here. DNA evidence only further confuse the case of the yogurt shop murders.
The
My
yogurt shop murders,
Elza
baby.
Thomas and Jennifer Harbison finished their shift at I Can't Believe It's Yogurt on December 6, 1991. Jennifer's sister Sarah and their friend Amy Ayers met up with the girls in Austin, Texas. Shop in the Austin, Texas shop so they could all head home together. Instead, the four teens were tied up and shot in the heads before the perpetrators set the building on fire to destroy any evidence. Investigators believe that at least two men were responsible for the murders, but they couldn't be identified or caught. Multiple customers remember seeing two strange men in the shop who seemed out of place, ordering drinks instead of frozen yogurt. Police were desperate to gain a lead on the case, even hypothesizing suspects and witnesses in hopes of obtaining new information. The case remained unsolved for 8 years. In 1999, investigators decided to revisit an old lead and discovered a new angle. Teenager Maurice Pierce had initially been arrested for carrying a gun in a mall near the yogurt shop. The day after the murders, however, he was let go because there wasn't enough evidence to prove he played a part in committing the crime. His friend Robert Springsteen, Michael Scott, Michael Scott Paper Company, if you know, you know, and fourth, Dunder Mifflin.
Dunder
Dunder
Mifflin.
Mifflin, this is Pam. A Forrest
Hmm.
and Forrest Welburn had also been questioned, but were eventually let go. When law enforcement called their suspects back in for questioning 8 years later, Springsteen and Scott confessed to the murders and implicated their two friends as associates. However, the two later recanted their statements. Pierce and Welburn were set free due to lack of evidence. Scott and Springsteen were initially convicted for the murders, but the ruling was overturned based on the courtroom technicality. Still, law enforcement and the public believe the four men were responsible for the shooting of the 14 girls. As DNA technology advances, prosecutors in 2009 ordered that the girls' vaginal swabs taken from the night of their murders be retested. Confident that they would finally shut the case, instead, scientists returned a partial DNA sample that didn't match any of the four suspects. Scott and Springsteen were released for prison, and the case remained unsolved. Jesus.
Hmm.
Man,
Another
yeah.
unsolved.
The bodies of 11 women and the desert pointed investigators to the West Mesa bone collector. February 2009. Christine Ross was walking her dog, Ruka, around a dried out wash in Albuquerque, New Mexico. When the dog found what appeared to be a human bone, considering the worst was hoping for the best. Ross snapped a photo and sent it to her sister, a registered nurse. After Ross's sister confirmed that it was, in fact, a human femur, which is the largest bone of the body, Ross called the Albuquerque Police Department. The gruesome discovery prompted a search of the area where authorities uncovered the remains of 11 women between the age of 15 and 32. The 2009 case became known as the West Mesa murders. It took forensic experts almost a year to identify the remains. All Hispanic women who have gone missing between 2001 and 2005. All but one of the victims was tied to sex work or sex trafficking, unfortunately, making them easy targets for potential serial killers. Estranged from their families and relatively unnoticed by general public, some women hadn't even been reported missing when medical examiners identified their remains. FBI agents were never able to find the killer, dubbed the West Mesa bone collector. Many believe he escaped long before Ruka unearthed the first found corpse. Authorities did piece together a timeline of each young woman's last whereabouts, but their time and cause of death remain a mystery. Although the profiles of two different men emerged as probable suspects, the killer did not leave enough evidence at the scene to tie either of them to the murders. Fortunately, however, both men are off the Albuquerque streets. Joseph Blia is serving a life sentence for sexual assault cases, but knew many of the women found in the wash and possessed jewelry that might have belonged to the victims. Lorenzo Montoya, damn, that sounds like a gangster there. With Lorenzo
Montoya.
Montoya was killed when an estranged boyfriend found that Montoya had strangled and murdered his girlfriend, who was a sex worker. I mean, no offense, sex workers, but I don't think I would ever date you. you know? I mean, like, you go up there, you try to date one and be like, "What number am I for the day?" Oof, oof.
I would.
Well, I mean, I guess she puts out, I guess. The Axeman of New Orleans. From May 1918 to October 1919, a serial killer named the Axeman of New Orleans caused chaos throughout the Big Easy, taunting police, sending threatening messages to local newspapers as he brutally murdered and severely injured local Italian grocers and their families. Each time the killer struck, he used a chisel to cut the panel out of the victims' doors before slitting their throats and bashing their heads in with axes found at their homes. While
Ugh.
horrific, most of the injuries victims sustained were not immediately lethal. Most were found covered in blood, but still breathing. Days to months later, they would eventually succumb to their wounds. Those who did recover suffered memory loss and could never remember details of their attacks. When the mysterious murder pivoted to his traditional targets to pregnant women whose husbands was at work, the entire city became paranoid as the woman, s- scalped and toothless, but still carrying her child, recovered in the hospital. Men in New Orleans stayed up all night guarding their families in case of attacks. In a bizarre plot twist, the entire city went from being paralyzed with fear to dancing frantically to jazz music in their homes. March 19th, 1919. However, families weren't celebrating that authorities had caught the killer. Instead, they were dancing from a place of pure terror that the killer might choose them on his next to be his next victim. What? They were dancing from a place of oh man, I if I'm scared, I ain't dancing. I'm getting a gun, boarding up the house, taking shifts, sleeping. I ain't dancing. Mm-mm. I ain't dancing anyways. I don't know how to dance. Anyways, so the previous day, the Axeman sent a letter to the local newspaper expressing his love for jazz music. He warned that he would be in New Orleans at 12:15 a.m. If he came across a home that wasn't jazzing it out, the inhabitants would surely be his next target. It's
What the hell?
probable that not every home jazzed it out on the night on that night, but enough dancing and singing was going on around the city to keep the murderer appeased. Let me tell you what. I'm not going to jazz it out. I'm going to let you come in my house and I will see you with a shotgun to the face. Like, I mean, this is 1919. What's this guy? This guy is hitting you with an axe? Something? Like, I think even a musket could kill you. Like, come on. What are we doing here? Let him in. Holy crap.
I'd be jazzing it up every night
Oh, you
after
and
hearing
your little
about that.
jazz hands. Well, some people speculated the mafia planned the heinous crimes. Others believed it was a spree of hate crimes against Italian Americans, and some even speculated that the Axeman in New Orleans was an actual demon. Well, let me tell you about New Orleans. They they believe in all that voodoo shit down
Nolans.
there. You ever been to Louisiana? I have
I
been to
haven't
Louisiana,
personally,
man.
no.
Oof, it's a different country down there. Um, no matter the killer's origin story, the world may never know. He was never caught, disappearing from the New Orleans scene just as quickly as he appeared. Wow. All right. So, oh, is there only one more? I guess I might as well read the last one. So, this is 24 people perish in a train derailment caused by unknown saboteurs. The city of San Francisco luxury train was running 30 minutes behind schedule. The night of August 12th, 1939. The one thing that I know about trains is they're always late, especially the Amtrak. To make up for lost time, engineer Ed Hecox pushed the state of the art steamliner to 90 miles per hour. Holy shit! In 1939?
I was
God
I was booking it.
dang! 88 miles an hour and you're going back to the future, baby. Shoo. Wow. That's crazy. Traveling through the Nevada desert. Well, at least it was nice and flat, I guess. Hecox knew the area well. He had been transporting travelers from Chicago to Oakland and back since he was a stagecoach driver in the 1880s. I bet that was a lot longer of a trip on a stagecoach. He probably thought he was hauling ass.
He's like, "We're gonna
Jeez.
get there a lot
The
sooner,
train
baby."
was at the train was at top speed as it approached bridge number 4 over the Humboldt River Gorge. Just before the train crossed the overpass, Hecox noticed a tumbleweed on the tracks. The conductor immediately slammed on his brakes. Like, what for? It's a tumbleweed. Like that tumbleweed's gonna
Eh,
derail the train?
he's
I've
like,
ran over
"Yeah, not on
tumbleweeds
my
in my
watch."
pickup. Oh my gosh. Okay, so he slams on the brakes, but it was too late. As the momentum from the engine propelled the derailed front cars forward over the bridge, 5 other cars decoupled and plunged into the riverbed below. 24 people perished in the impact, and severely injured passengers had to crawl over body parts in the dark night to seek help. One of the passengers was a doctor who helped triage and stabilize as many victims as possible. Hecox ran for help, but the next town was miles away. When he finally reached Harney, he alerted authorities and gathered volunteers. The injured lit portions of the train on fire to provide visibility as they waited for Hecox's return. All 170 passengers suffered injuries. I mean, at least he's 100% for fucking people up. Jeez. And the first rescue train didn't arrive until the following day. This guy's going 90, and this other train is going like
Like,
2. What the hell? Okay. Upon investigation, authorities found that someone had tampered with a 30-foot section of tracks near the bridge. Its spikes had been pulled out, the tracks was bent inwards. Additionally, the tumbleweed had been tied to the damaged railing to camouflage the saboteur's work. Investigators never caught the perpetrators, and the motive behind the sabotage remains a mystery. Officials estimated the job would have taken more than 90 pounds of tools and several hours to complete. Like how are they can't figure out who did it, but by God, they know it took 90 pounds of tools. Ki- Come on, man.
I mean,
90 pounds of tools. I don't know who did it, by God, but it took 90 pounds of tools to do it. Oh, an impossible feat for one person. But instead of focusing on suspects with ties to the railroad or passengers, investigators focused on transient men in the area made homeless from the Great Depression. After numerous interviews, they found that none of the local homeless men could have been responsible for the incident. Volunteers and looters looking for survivors the night of the crash had destroyed any clues that may have led to catching any plausible suspects. While the U.S. entered World War II, a few years later, officials abandoned the investigation. Wow, man, remind me to never, ever let you pick stories to read. Wow, God.
hey,
Every one of them some bitches was cool case.
I
God
happen to like
dang.
them, so
Yeah,
I thought they were pretty interesting. Besides, when my
you
computer
mean your
crashed
phone?
out.
Your
Not my
computer?
computer. Yeah, the cover fell off and
Oh,
crashed.
your computer is still on because I hear you clicking your mouse. Yeah.
No.
Anyways, so, folks, if you heard one of them that you want us to elaborate on more, this motherfucker over here is gonna have to do it because shiver me timbers, those were all
I'm really interested in the
that
assassin
took a
that
sh- that took a shit in
stayed
the
in the
toilet.
house.
They had DNA, fingerprints, saliva, clothes, murder weapon. Nah, man, we don't know who did it. No ID. That's insane. I mean, 280,000 people can figure it out. You might as well fired every one of them. Be a Walmart greeter. No offense, Walmart greeters. Flipping burgers at old McDonald's.
Mac
Yeah.
D's.
So, anyways, so hopefully episode 4 will not have so much of Skilly coughing and moving around and being antsy.
I told you
And
we can
I don't
edit
have
it.
anything to edit this stuff with, so this is all on tape. Anyway, so episode 4, hopefully, I will talk about the Crouch family murders. I'm trying to look through stuff right now, and we'll figure something out with it. And Big Skilly for maybe episode 5 will have something to talk about other than a bunch of cliffhangers. So we appreciate you sticking around, listen to us fumbling through this story. Story time. Butterfly in the sky. I can go twice as high. It's in a book.
Take a look.
Reading with Skilly.
M-
All right, man. Thanks for sticking around. We'll holler at you guys on the next one.